In today's episode, we're going over the rest stroke, also known as apoyando or picado. And the rest stroke is a way of playing where you pluck the string and you force the string down, you come to rest on the string above. And that produces a very punchy, strong and powerful sound, which is characteristic of Spanish flamenco playing, but it's also used in classical guitar. I'm going to be splitting this lesson into two parts. In part one, we're going to focus on mastering the rest stroke, and in part two, we're going to be dealing with speed and how to problem solve in scale passages. Mainly, how to overcome the fact that these two fingers, the index and the middle, are of different lengths. So the rest stroke is a technique where we pluck the string and the finger comes to rest on the string above immediately after plucking. So I'm plucking the E string and my finger is getting stuck on the B string. This in contrast to the free stroke where the follow through is free. So here's the free stroke, I'm plucking the string and the finger moves away from the adjacent string. And we can generally get a louder, more projected sound when we use the rest stroke. But the thing is that we can't pluck more than one note at a time. We can't pluck chords with the rest stroke. It has to be free stroke. So there's two situations where we're going to be using the rest stroke. One situation is playing scales or single note melodies. So this is a passage where I'm just using rest stroke. Single note melody, rest stroke. Another situation is when we're going to be using the rest stroke to accent certain notes in the passage. So most of that passage was free stroke, except for certain notes in the melody that I used rest strokes. For instance, that first note. Here again, and again here, and there. So those are the two situations where we're going to be using the rest stroke. Now before we go ahead and practice the exercises, let's go over two very important points in relation to the rest stroke. The first point is the movement should really come from from your knuckle joints. Okay, so what's quite nice to do as an exercise is to imagine your hand as a big digger, and you're gonna keep this middle joint and the tip joint really still. You're gonna lock that in place and not let it flex like this, and then you're gonna only move from the knuckle joint. Okay, just like a big digger. That's the movement. So when we're doing the rest stroke, the movement is mainly coming from that joint. In reality, everyone's fingers are different. Maybe some people that are double jointed flex this a little bit and maybe a little bit here, so maybe 80% there and the rest is spread. But as a point of start, you should really practice the movement, just moving from the knuckle joint. The second aspect to mention is the point of contact between your nail and the string should be on the left side. So as you prepare the movement, the stroke, make sure that both the flesh under the nail and the nail are touching the string. Okay, so it's important that both are touching the string and that the nail is making contact with the string on the left side of the nail. Okay, so the left side of the nail touches the string. And as you force the string down, the string is going to exit from left to right. Okay, so it's really in that corner of the string, of the nail, the corner of the nail. And there's two things to look out for here. The first is if there's too much resistance, if the string is, if your nail is presenting too much resistance to the string, that means that the nail's too long, and you want to file it down a little bit. If there's not enough, then your nail is too short. The second thing is if you hear a clicking sound like this before striking the string, like you get a double sound, it means that you're touching the flesh first and then the nail. So that what you want to do is you want to bring the finger over a little bit so that the string touches both the nail and the flesh at the same time, and not the flesh only, kind of too deep under the pad of the finger, and then you get the stroke. And that way you end up getting two sounds, a clicking sound and then the rest stroke. Okay? In the first exercise, we're going to be practicing the rest stroke in 2 steps. Step 1 is going to be prepare, and step 2 is going to be to pluck, to strike. Now, when you prepare, make sure that both the flesh and the nail touch the string, and that the string is touching the nail on the left side. When we pluck, we make sure that we move mainly from the knuckle joint. Now, as we do these exercises, make sure that your thumb also is resting on the 6th string to keep the hand nice and secure. So, prepare and pluck, prepare, pluck, prepare, pluck, prepare, pluck. Let's go on to the 2nd string now. So, prepare, pluck, prepare, pluck, prepare, pluck, prepare, pluck, and 3rd string. Prepare, pluck, prepare, pluck, prepare, pluck, prepare, pluck. In exercise 2, we're going to play the rest stroke in 1 step. We're going to still prepare, but we're going to do it in 1 action, okay? And we're going to be playing 4 times on strings 1, then moving to string 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then going back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to keep the thumb on the 6th string, except for when we have to play on that string, and then you can just move it up a little bit, touching the body of the guitar. And then when we're back onto the 5th string, you can then again make rest on the 6th string. So it's going to be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then move into the 2nd string. In exercise number 3, we're going to be practicing a rest stroke over a scale. The scale sounds like this. And this is the D harmonic minor scale, but beginning in A. You can also call this the A mixolydian flat 9, flat 13. Okay, so let's go over the notes first, and I'll show you how to practice this. So the notes are on the A string. We're going to play 3 notes: the open A, fret 1 B flat, and fret 4 C sharp. Then on the D string, we're going to play the open D, the E on the 2nd fret, and the F on the 3rd fret. And string 3, we're going to play the same position, the same fingering as string 4. So open, 2nd fret and 3rd fret. So G, A, B flat. So far we have A, B flat, C sharp, D, E, F, G, A, B flat. Then on string 2, we're going to play 2 notes only, the 2nd fret and the 3rd fret, C sharp and D. And then on string 1, we're going to play the E, the F, and the G. If you wanted to complete the scale, you could go up to the A. But for this exercise, we're going to end on G. Okay, so. And then back. Now, the purpose of this exercise isn't to gain speed. We're not practicing to play fast just yet. In this exercise, what we're aiming for is a regular attack, so that both the index and the middle fingers have the same volume. We don't end up with a scale that's lopsided. So we're aiming for a regular attack, and that the middle finger matches the volume of the index. Okay, so we're going to start with the index. We're going to be playing 4 times on each note. So rest your thumb on the 6th string, and we're going to play 4 times on each note through the scale, starting with the open A. Okay, and take the opportunity to listen to the notes and adjust if you need, the action, the pressure of the fingers so that you match the attack. And also try to practice some of the other things that we've discussed, like the preparation of the stroke and that you're striking from the left side of the nail. So let's go, starting with the open A. Then B flat, C sharp, and then D, E. Listen for the attack, make sure that they both match. F, then G. Try to keep your right hand still and not move around. A, B flat, C sharp, D, then E, F, and then the last note is G. And then we can go back on the notes, and you can practice this going up and down. And if you want to play at a faster tempo, you can also do a little bit faster, but just make sure that the attack is the same, that you're maintaining a regular volume throughout the scale. The final exercise we're going to be practicing in this lesson will be for speed and alternation. And it sounds like this. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm using the same scale and I'm gradually adding in more notes. I started with just the A, and then I gradually started adding more notes. And we're going to be playing up and down the scale, always alternating the index in the middle. So keep your thumb on the 6th string, and starting with the A, using the index, we're going to play A, then B flat, then back to the A. This time we go up to the C sharp, back to the A, and then up to the D, up to the E, up to the F, this time up to the G. Now try to keep your hand really still, so the less movement you have here in the hand, the more accurate you can be. So this time we're going to play up to the A, then B flat, C sharp, D, open E, F, and the last one is G. And then we're going to start taking back notes. So this time up to the F, open E, D, C sharp, B flat, A, G, then F, E, D, C sharp, and that's the end of this exercise. This exercise throws up a couple of challenges that I wanted to mention. And the first one is in cross strings. That means changing from one string to the other when we're playing the scale. And because for most people the middle finger is longer than the index, Okay. When you cross strings going from, let's say, from the G string to a B string, if it happens to be the index to the middle finger, that feels fine, okay? Because the difference in lengths benefits the change. But if it's the other way around, where I'm going from the G string to the B string, and I happen to have my middle finger, and then I have to play my index, that upsets the balance of the hand. I have to compensate, and I have to move the hand quite a lot. And then I end up losing accuracy. And those are places where you might have felt that you either missed a note, or you kind of got stuck, or it was harder to play. And the same is true going up, okay? Going from, let's say, if I have to move from the E string to the B string, and I happen to have the fingering, it happens to be the middle finger going to the index, that's fine. But if it's the other way around, where I have to play the index and going to the middle finger, that again doesn't feel as good. It can upset the hand, and you might have to compensate by moving. So how do we remedy that? Well, that depends on your fingers. If your middle finger is quite a lot longer than your index, like in my case, what I have to do is I have to curl in my middle finger, so my kind of neutral position as I'm playing the rest stroke is this. Okay, notice that the middle finger has to curl in more than the index is almost straight, and my middle finger is a little bit curled. Okay, and what we want to do is, when we practice that, is make sure that your hand isn't going like this. Okay, if you're doing that, then that means that your hand is having to compensate, and you haven't curled in your finger as much as you have to. So just practice this and look at your hand and make sure that, okay, my hand is still, and so that the middle finger is as curled as it has to be. Now, the other aspect that I wanted to mention is in relation to the tone when we're playing over the bass strings. And specifically is this scratchy sound that we can sometimes get if we're playing here. Notice that the more angular the stroke is, so kind of coming from the side, the more of that swiping, the more of that scratchy sound you're going to get. So if I exaggerate here, the nail is running through a lot of the string and it's creating this swiping sound, whereas if we have a more straight-on strike position, a more straight-on position, we have less of that scratchy tone. So if you're getting a lot of that tone, then just slightly adjust your attack to be more kind of straight on, and specifically playing a little bit more from the tip of the nail. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you'd like to continue developing your rest stroke, lesson part 2 is entirely dedicated to developing speed and problem solving in scales. And this lesson is available at Patreon. That's patreon.com/altguitar. And if you're a member, you'll also have access to PDFs, backing tracks, and a lot of other exclusive content made for my lovely patrons. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson. Bye bye for now.